Hello everyone, I'm Carolyn Taylor. A welcome Alive to Thrive, and this is a new segment that continues about fear and cancer. And we're going to explore the old beliefs about cancer and new beliefs. And why we're doing this is because I realized as part of my cancer journey that I had so many old broken beliefs about cancer, and I kind of had to explore where they were coming from and how they made me feel. And I had some guidance along the way to have some new thoughts. And it really created this atmosphere of new beginnings and not just endings. And I love that. And most of my thoughts about cancer came from childhood. And you would hear your parents talk about, oh, Aunt so-and-so, oh, she has cancer. And then they'd kind of whisper, and you weren't supposed to hear that as a child. And you knew it was bad because if your parents were whispering, you knew you weren't supposed to hear that. So you knew it was something that had to be hidden, wasn't necessarily great news. Or you heard about, somebody would say right out loud, well, Uncle Charlie had leukemia and he died. And that was it. That was the story of cancer. And you grew up with all these little vignettes in your life from other people's and families. And you never heard the story that, Vivian down the street had breast cancer and she's doing just fine. 5 years later, you wouldn't believe she's doing great. Those were not stories that I remember hearing. And then we get fed from the news media. Oh, celebrity died of cancer. Oh, here's the prevalence of cancer in different cities. And it's always just coming at us of doom and gloom. You don't hear, gee, there's millions and millions of people out there surviving longer than they ever did, living full lives. You don't hear that because that's not part of this belief system that we grew up with. So we've been surrounded with negativity, with the thoughts of cancer. I know I have. And what I decided to do is to say, well, what are some of the vocabulary words that I use when I think about cancer? And wow, they weren't good. And since words are very powerful, it affects how we think and how we feel and how we behave, I just realized I had some really bad words inside me. And we're going to go over some of them. How about that? And one of the words that I first heard whenever I heard cancer was life ending, or in other words, death. Well, that cheered me right up, realizing that was there. The idea of the old belief of cancer was that, oh, it's hopeless. I have cancer. There's nothing I can do now. It's out of my hands. It's just how it is. And that is not going to get you to a positive place. But yet that stuck in my heart as a truism that I needed to deal with. I also thought of cancer as something that made you go through endless treatment. There was no end to it. It just went on and on and on. You never got a break. It went on for 40 years, 50, it doesn't matter. It just, whatever was in my head, it just said the treatment went on forever and I just have to live with it. Not true. Now that I'm at the other end of it, I understand that. But when I started on this journey, no one explained to me that nobody's cancer treatment is endless. Everybody gets a break. Everybody can try different modalities, but it is not endless. Promise on that one. And one of the big things about old belief of cancer is that it's overwhelming. It's going to take over everything. It's going to take over your personality. It's going to take over your job, your house. It's going to take over everything you are, and you just can't deal with it all because it just keeps coming at you, and you just don't have time to resolve any of the problems that it causes. That's slightly true, but you know what? If you can break it down into different kinds of fears, different kinds of support systems, you don't get so overwhelmed. But that's the initial reaction that I had to cancer. It's just going to take over my life, and I'll never be me again. Not true, because I'm me again. Whether you like it or not, here it is. So I love that idea that I thought I went away. I did not. I also thought that when you have cancer, as part of my old belief, there was no future. I am a very goal-oriented person. I am a Capricorn. There's nothing I can do about that. And you took one step at a time. You worked hard. You went to the next goal and the next goal. And you always had a future because there's always another project, another skill, another thing that you wanted to accomplish. And I remember in the middle of my cancer treatment thinking, well, 6 months from now. And I just went, 6 months? I got nothing. I had no goals. I didn't know how to set a goal. I just was shocked that my old beliefs just held me back from saying, you'll never have a future again. You will. Trust me, you will. It may be different. and you may have to redefine it, but that's perfectly okay. The other fear that I had was dependencies, that I was going to need everybody to drive me everywhere, cook my food, grocery shop for me, do my laundry. Sometimes it sounds kind of good right now, but at the time it just sounded like, no, I don't want people to have to take care of me as if I were a child again. I did not want that. And all of these terrible old beliefs gave me a diminished outlook on what my life could be. And I just didn't see that it could be a big picture, that I could be doing anything that would be exciting or fun again. And I just realized, wow, this is really negative, and I need to stop that. And I was lucky that I had a doctor who suggested to me to think of cancer as life-challenging, not life-ending. Ooh, I kind of like that. And then he also described cancer as a chronic disease that needs to be monitored and managed. What? I'm not going to die right now? Oh, I like that. And I thought, wow, there's millions of people out there with diabetes and high blood pressure, and they have the same kind of disease they're monitoring and managing. And this just created a new thought of, wow, there's a new world of cancer out there that I didn't grow up with. And unless you're 10 years old, you probably don't even realize of all the changes that have gone on. And so what I decided to do was take all that negative and replace it with some new beliefs. And there were new beliefs, but they were informed beliefs from literature, from doctors, from anecdotes, and from friends and from professionals that reminded me, yes, cancer's life-changing, but you've been through a lot of changes and a lot of challenges in your life. This is just another one of those. Just keep it in proportion. Keep it in a box for what it really, really is. There's also extreme amounts of research and breakthroughs going on. We live in a time that cancer breakthroughs are now exponential. Exponentially, there's been more breakthroughs in the past 5 years than there have been in the past 75 years. And it just keeps building on itself. It's so exciting. And the new modalities that are being brought to the fore so that we can have new and different kinds of treatment. And the options are just absolutely amazing, that they take your own cells and they can actually cure cancer. Some cancers, the CAR T. Where did that come from? That's in the past 5 years. And I have to tell you that as far as new possibilities go, when I got my clinical trial 4 years ago, I was on two experimental drugs. And I sit here right now to let you know that both of those drugs have been approved by the FDA. In 4 years? Are you kidding me? This is amazing. This is what's going on out there. This is the excitement that doctors and medical professionals feel when you come for treatment, because there are so many potentials. It's just incredible. And sometimes if they just use the old tried and true, they'll switch chemo with surgery and do that first, and they're getting better outcomes. So they're not stuck in the mud. They're not staying with the old beliefs of this is how you do it, step 1, 2, and 3, because that's how we've done it for the past 75 years. There are new thoughts and treatments and modalities that we've never heard before. Yes, we're going to have some new challenges because we're living longer and we might get secondary cancers. And you know what? There's new treatment for those too. It's not unheard of, and it's not a reason to just put the blanket over our head and say, oh no, it can't happen again. It can happen again, but once again, it's something that can be managed and treated and monitored. Love that, love that, love that. One of the things and the new belief about cancer is we have to change our habits. And that's fair. And we always think of food, diet, and exercise. Yeah, that's a really good starting place. But some of the more subtle things that I realized I had to change in my life when it came to changing habits was how I managed stress and anxiety. That contributed as much to anything that I was going through, and I'm still working on that one. But I realized that these are things that I can change. This doesn't require needles or equipment or going to a hospital. These are things that I can do for myself, to empower myself, to say, I'm going to make life and it's going to be a better one than it was with cancer. And I'm going to start now and not wait till I'm done with my cancer, but start working on this right now to build a better life for me. And that's something that I found it's really important to feel self-empowered. Your medical team can walk you through your treatment, but you can walk yourself through all the new beliefs that you have, how you meet these new challenges, how you think about your cancer, and most of all, what you personally can do to be part of that team. You are part of that team. I really didn't understand that. I thought I had to give it over to the medical professionals. Well, you do, but at the same time, hold on a piece of yourself to say, what can I do to empower myself? And the final thing that I'm going to mention about the things that we can do with our new beliefs about cancer is create a support system. And we all know the traditional, the family, the church, and your medical professionals. And that's a great start. But I found along this journey of amazing things is that there are support systems that are going to be available to you 24/7 on your birthday, Christmas, Hanukkah, and they're free of charge. So many of them on YouTube, and I'm going to be delighted when we get to that section to talk about where can I go for support when nobody else is around, when that night crawler creepy fears come in, and what can I do, and I don't want to wake up my partner for the 15th time that night to say, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. We have this whole new world, brave new world, of what we can do with our fears and our beliefs and kind of turn them on their head so that even though they're there, they're not big anymore. We can just keep them peanut size. I like that. I can carry a peanut around. That's good. It's no big deal in my life. And all of it is amazing. And so let's just take a deep breath and take joy in the fact that indeed we're in this new world, new brave world, where options are changing and proliferating every day, and we can become a part of it because clinical trials are spread all over the country. They're not just in one cancer center and everyone has to fly to New York or Los Angeles. It's now distributed everywhere in the United States, and that there's more openings and the rules are changing so that they're looking for more minorities, and that the rules used to be that you cut off clinical trials for people when they turn 60. You know what? They don't do that anymore. The world is wide open for us. We just have to reach out and grab what we think is going to be our new belief and go with it. And we're going to find that we have changed our lives and our cancer. And we're going to sleep at night knowing that we're doing everything we possibly can and the future's going to look pretty good. It's all amazing. I'd like to suggest that because we can't change our diagnosis, one of the things we can do is change our focus. And so the ideas of the old beliefs and the new beliefs is doing exactly that. So I'd like you to grab a cup of coffee and get to work. Grab a sheet of paper, split it in half. On one side, put old beliefs. Put every negative thought you've ever had about cancer. Get it out of your system. Vomit it on the paper. Just get it all down. Get it out of your system because it's there anyway. So if you don't acknowledge it, it's just going to stay stuck. Get it unstuck and put it on paper. The other half of the paper, you heard some of my new ideas, life challenging. It's simply a chronic disease that has to be managed. You've heard all the new thoughts about new drugs, new options, new breakthroughs. I challenge you to come up with some new words for yourself about what are the positive thoughts that you can have about your future in cancer that you didn't think of before. And the other idea that I think is wonderful is save those new ideas, throw away, rip away the old, put that in the trash, burn it, shred it, do whatever you need to do. But the positive new beliefs, maybe put on stickums and put them on your bathroom mirror when you brush your teeth in the morning. Oh, there's a breakthrough. There's clinical trials. There's new drugs coming out faster than ever. There's immunotherapy. There's radiation. There's just amazing things that can be done. I just need to look for them and ask the right questions so I can be guided to where I need to go. And the beauty of this is that we don't have to have every single treatment work for us. What we can do is to say, I only need one of these treatments to work, so I'll keep looking until I find it. That's my new belief. I like that. My cancer came back 3 times. It didn't cheer me up, but at the same time, I sit here before you healthy and thriving because I simply walked through the fears and decided that I didn't want to live in the dark shadows. I wanted to move to the light. And when you decide to move to the light and get your head and emotions to move with you, suddenly you find life is good. You can go from alive to thrive, and you can live with cancer. You don't have to wait till you're in remission, cancer-free for 5 years or 10 years. You can live right this very moment with those new beliefs and feel good about everything. No, you can't change your diagnosis. Yes, you can change your focus. That's our beautiful thought for today. And namaste, and thank you for joining us for part 2 of Fear. We've got this. I know we've got this. Thank you.